The world is actually starting to open back up a little bit. And as we predicted, a lot of companies are actually starting to keep their employees at home permanently. So how are you preparing yourself for that phone call from your boss? What matters when you're upgrading your home studio and office? And how do you know what should even be a priority? That's why we're here, to give you the lowdown so that you can save yourself the headache later and go into the situation more prepared. So I'm just going to toss it over to the people I trust to keep me ahead of the game, Andrew Perrin, Andrew Wall. So let's start with this, gentlemen. Let's put yourself in the situation. You're not tech savvy at all. You don't know too much about it. You know your basics. You know how to use the internet. You know how to turn on your computer. You just got a call from your boss saying, okay, you're going to work from home permanently. Is there a priority list that you guys have of what you need to do to make sure you're prepared to go into that situation permanently?
Absolutely there is. And I think we can break this up into a couple categories of internet and computer equipment. I think that'd be one category of like the foundation for your home studio. And then we can look at other things such as visuals and audio. So you're basically looking at your foundation, your visuals, and your audio. Those are the three categories. And I think it's most important because everybody talks about what webcam you should buy, what mic you should buy. Let's put that to the end. We will talk about our preferences there. Let's talk about your foundation first. Andrew Perrin, you and I have 2 internet connections at my home studio because of the nature of the work that I do. And as far as internet is concerned, I think it's the #1 most important purchase you can make on your home studio personally. I'd love to get your opinion, but I have 2 connections. I've got one DSL line, and then I've got a separate traditional broadband line from 2 separate internet service providers. So why do I do that? Obviously, I live stream as a part of my job, so it's important for clients and what have you. But the thing is, if you're working from home and your internet sucks or it goes down, you are worthless as a remote person. So your internet is critically important. So for anybody out there who has the money and can afford it, I do recommend getting 2 internet lines to your house. I know that sounds ridiculous. You can get one that's maybe balling out with super high bandwidth, but I'd recommend, if you can afford it, getting a cheaper line as a secondary line and implementing that into your home office, and just making sure that you can always be connected to the internet. That's really essential. And as far as internet accessories are concerned, I recommend getting a very, very good router. This one right here, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. This is a Netgear Nighthawk gaming router. I love this router. It gives incredible wireless, it reduces latency, and it has an app that allows you to control every single device that's connected to your network in your home. And I use that for all of my wireless. And other than that, I think that what you need to make sure you do is you don't use the router that comes with your internet connection in your home office. So the routers that they give you are hot garbage. They're actually modems. They're not even routers, they're modems. They're designed to provide one internet connection effectively. And then beyond that one internet connection they provide effectively, all the rest are trash because they're cheap pieces of hardware that are just there for the common user. But you, now that you work from home, you're not the common user. You're a hardcore, literally a professional user. So you need to consider buying a separate internet router to plug into your modem to better distribute the signal, to reduce latency, and to handle the plethora of devices in your home. So in summary, 2 internet connections and buy a separate router. I think that's a really high priority purchase in my opinion. Perrin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I got a pro tip here actually. So you hit the nail on the head. This is like the internet connection is always the most important thing because it's your stability. If suddenly you're always having internet trouble and your clients know that and you're having to tell them, hey, I can't do stuff today, internet is out, and you have to tell them that more than once ever, you're not going to be asked back. You're not going to be having them as a client for very long. You need to have stability with your internet connection, and you need to have a fast connection, something that's stable. So that means they're going to be expensive. You should be paying probably somewhere between $80 to $150 per month for your internet. That's going to range widely depending on what is available in your area. Pro tip. So while you're talking about modems and routers, a lot of internet service providers will charge you a monthly fee to rent a modem from them. You don't have to use that modem. You can actually go to the store, Best Buy, whatever, or buy one online, your own modem. that will cost $30 maybe. And instead of paying $5 to $10 a month for years for that modem, you've already paid the $30 for it. They charge you and make tons of money off of you just using their modem when you don't even have to. So pre-buy your own modem. I've had the same one for 10 years that I take around even when I've moved, and I just use the same modem. And for 10 years, I've only ever spent $30 on it and nothing more. And that's a great way to save a lot of money per month, because you're going to have to upgrade from their basic internet package to something more like, and my company is Unleashed Internet, but also if they don't have anything good, a business internet line, because you're going to be running a business from your home and you need to have the strongest, most reliable connection available. It's also good to look at the support service that your internet service provider offers. You might be calling them up a lot. What I used to do whenever I didn't have stability with my internet is I just got on first name basis with their support crew, and I called so often that they basically knew who I was, and they sent me to like the management right away whenever I would call in, not because I was mean or anything like that. I was very nice to them. I just called a lot because I really wanted stability and I really wanted a good connection. And because of doing so, I formed a good relationship with them. And they always made sure to help me if my connection were stable. I even got them proactively calling me at one point. So that's a bit overboard. You don't have to go that much. The point is strong internet, stable internet is the most important thing. You're not going to be able to do much without it. Have a fallback plan if you don't have internet. Like Awol said, have a secondary line, or be able to do stuff from your phone, or have a location that you can go to, an internet cafe or something that you can do work from if you have an outage.
That makes sense. And I want to just reemphasize one point. Being in the office is completely different than being remote. So if you're on a call and you're constantly laggy and people can't understand what you're saying, you're a worthless employee. Like you are literally, you're actually taking away from the business by participating in meetings and being on calls. And people are going to see your value going from a 10 out of 10, which is what your value might actually be, down to being a 2 out of 10 when your internet is bad. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how good you are at communicating. It doesn't matter how good you are at your job. If people can't talk to you, they can't see you. If you can't do your job remotely with a fantastic internet connection that's super reliable, you're worthless. Nobody likes to have that person on the call. And those kind of people, by the way, they get fired fast when they work remote. So be ready for that. It's not like being in the office where you can just go up and talk to somebody, or they can see your value just by you physically being there, and they can see you working hard. You have to have good internet to be visible. I mean, it sounds obvious, but I'm telling you, people that lag out, they suck, they get fired. They do. They suck and they get fired.
Yeah, and it's different because when you're actually in the office, if your internet goes out, chances are you may 50-50 shot you have an IT guy, and then another 50-50 shot that the internet even comes back on. I mean, it's a whole different story. Like, you are your own IT guy when you work at home, so you have to prepare for these situations, and you have to think about it differently because now you're in a completely different environment. You don't have anybody to rely on. Well, it was a couple months ago, I believe, when we first started doing the live shows, that you mentioned something about, and this may not even necessarily go with the flow of the episode, but you mentioned something about quality and, coming off more esteemed, making sure you have, good quality audio, good quality video.
Yes.
One thing that I've noticed from working remotely with a lot of clients is 90% of them actually don't even do video calls. It's all audio. They may do it over Zoom or something, but it's all audio. Does that mean that you should take your video elements, like if you wanted to get, like a nice $200, Logitech camera or something like that, is that worth putting on the back burner? Should you focus on audio first?
Yeah, so it depends. So, okay, there's a couple different elements. So let's switch to audio and video. So, okay, we talked about internet. That's your foundation. Well, let's put computers aside. That's a whole nother
right
topic.
Yeah, that's a whole episode.
That's like, we might have a debate about laptops versus desktops. We'll put that aside. Internet, spend money on that first before anything else. Great. Moving on, I agree. Audio is the next thing on the hierarchy. I don't think video is the most important thing for the reason that you stated. Most people want to just talk on a call. They're going to be on the go. They're going to be in the car. They might even call you on the phone. And so sounding incredible on calls makes you boom. It makes you cut through everybody else. When all the other people on the call, or all the other people out there live streaming, or all the other people creating videos are using laptop microphones, their regular phone, a headset, just something that's not professional, and you come in with a piece of equipment, even $130 Blue Yeti or AT2020 or some other equivalent microphone, you will sound like God in comparison to them. And that means you're being heard. That means that your opinion matters more. That means that your content is more impactful. And it means that you sound more credible and like you're someone with authority when you have fantastic audio. I can't tell you how many times I've been in the middle of like an all company meeting. Somebody like the person who's in charge of the meeting has been like, AWOL, you sound absolutely incredible. Like they will just say that in the middle of the call, be like, thank you. I know I do. and then when other people on the call are like, okay, I just want to get your attention here real quick. And last week I did XYZ. Like nobody can listen to that crap. Nobody can hear it. So when you invest in a fantastic microphone, and I recommend investing at least $100 to $130 into a microphone, like I said, any of those USB microphones, the Samson G-Chack Pro, like this one you see right over here, all of these microphones will up your quality from like a 2 out of 10, which is what most other clowns are using right now that are used to working in an office and not working at home, to like a 6.5 out of 10. And so you are going to sound so drastically better than everyone else. You're actually going to get promotions. You're going to get raises. You're going to get more clients, and you're going to get more return clients. You're going to get more people watching you for longer. Just the dividends that investing that $130 right there can generate for you in your career and your content is out of control. It's just exponential dividends. So that's, other than having a great internet connection, that's your number 2 purchase right after that, is purchasing a professional microphone. Don't cheap out on it and go get the $30 USB mic. Don't cheap out on it and get like a Logitech headset that you plug in. No, that's all trash. You need to get a good condenser microphone or dynamic mic that has a professional sound that you have well researched, and it will just generate dividends for you instantly, almost instantly.
Right. Now, audio, another thing with audio that I think is very important since we're talking about group meetings is you absolutely 110% need a headset. I can't tell you how many phone conversations I've been in where they're using just they'll have a microphone, but they'll have just the audio coming through their display. And you can literally hear the entire conversation and coming through their microphone to the point where you have to ask them to mute it, and they basically can't unmute themselves. So as far as having a microphone is obviously important, but just for the sanity of everybody else in your call, put on a pair of freaking headsets. Seriously. Yeah, like you're a professional now. You need to wear headphones. And a lot of people are like, oh, I look kind of weird. I look kind of weird with headphones. I don't like it. Or they'll be like, I don't want to have them on. Can I just listen on the speakers? No, shut up. Like, you can't do that. You sound terrible. You look awful. And like, when it's playing super loud over on the side, they're like, they're trying to talk and they're like, oh yeah, can everybody hear me? No, they can't. You suck at your job. Get a headset. And by the way, this is one of my favorite headsets. It's it's a pair of Sony headphones. It's $100. And the quality you get here is studio quality. You can wear these for like 18 hours and they don't hurt your head. And we have this particular headset at propodcastinggear.com. That's propodcastinggear.com. It is free to check out the guide. And these headphones are the ones that I use. Highly recommended. The best headphones of the money out there. Don't get a gamer headset. Don't get a pair of iPod headphones or whatever. Get an actual professional headset, because you are a professional now. You are not a clown anymore. So you need to gear up.
So we're talking about audio quality. So let's talk about phones for a second, because you do want to be able to take phone calls and have quality too. So does this mean you should get a landline? And I can't believe I'm going to get into this topic real quick.
Oh no, a phone? I want to hear this. I don't have a landline,
but this is a situation I run into when I'm talking to other potential clients and things like that. You get disconnected time after time after time again whenever I'm talking to someone who's from a rural area, or they have bad cellular service. If you're one of those people that you're in an area that has bad cellular service and you know this and you get disconnected from calls, please get a landline, because if you're on an important call and you keep losing service, eventually it will get to a point where they just won't call you back and they won't deal with you, because they might love what you can do. Like you might be the most skilled person ever, but they aren't going to want to have to deal with every time they want to call you, they have to disconnect 3 times. It's just annoying and it takes way too much effort. So they will just not call you back. And I've been in this situation, not from my end, I won't wouldn't even call the potential client back because I know it'll be a challenge to work with them if I'm in a scenario talking on the phone. You also want to consider having something for your phone so you can hear and speak better. A Bluetooth microphone, at least earbuds. The Apple ones have microphones on them.
I recommend AirPods Pro. It is worth the $250. It might sound crazy to spend that amount of money, but if you don't want to get the mic and everything we have, just connect AirPods Pro to your phone and it'll bring your audio quality up to like a 4 out of 10, as opposed to like a 2 out of 10, which is what it sounds like without these. This is good enough. And it's expensive, but it's good enough. And you can take these anywhere and do a call from any place. So this is a great purchase. Highly recommend them.
Another thing, if you have to take calls while you're on the go, have a good system in your car set up with a good microphone. My car just happens to have naturally decent sound, so I can take calls in my car really, really well. If you have a more modern car, you probably have a pretty good default setup in there. It looks really professional if you can take calls while you're on the go, because you look busy, you look like you're important because you've got things to do, but you're also savvy enough to do a high quality phone call with a client or something at the same time. So you want to be able to lay out that professional look where you look like you're a go-getter, you look like you're hungry, and you have all of this going for you, and you can do all this stuff at the same time. Those are important things. So if you live in a rural area, please get a landline.
That's a great point. And also, an anecdote here. And Ross, I'm rambling today. I'm going on a tirade for some reason. I don't know. It's fun to talk about this kind of stuff. I'm a weirdo about it, as you guys can probably tell. Also, if you want to get exposure, when you're working from home, you have to get new gigs, right? You can't physically meet anyone. And so being a guest on someone's podcast or doing an interview or doing videos and things like that are part of how you get a job and how you keep jobs when you work from home. And so if you don't have decent equipment and you don't have the knowledge of how to use your equipment and programs effectively, you're just going to lose those opportunities. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how talented you are. It doesn't matter how good you are at whatever you do. All of that is irrelevant if you cannot effectively communicate and use at-home technology in order to talk to people. Anecdote, had a guest with a recent client's podcast or interview that they were doing. This is one of the most credible people in the world on the particular subject that they were talking about. So credible. Multi-millionaire, just an incredible person. They couldn't figure out how to connect to their Zoom call. They couldn't figure out how to, which camera is the right one. Well, hold on. How do I choose the microphone here? If you don't understand how to use basic things like Zoom, if you don't understand exactly how to use Skype, Zoom, Discord, all of them, like a pro, you need to start watching YouTube videos right now and ramping up your ability to use communication tools and become an expert at them. Don't make someone teach you how to use Zoom. Don't be the guy that takes 15 minutes to freaking connect to the call. Like, you suck if you can't do that. You're like not doing basic things. It's like not ironing your shirt before you go to work and you look like a clown when you arrive at the office. Like, you just look like an idiot. So it's like trying to dial somebody in the office on the conference line and you're like ham-fisted, like punching random numbers and you don't understand how to use the Polycom, for example. Like, you just need to learn these skills right now. Like, things changed and you need to ramp up your knowledge of how to use software and communication tools.
If you need to, take the time to practice with someone you know with Zoom calls before you were going to do a professional call. Like, do what we in this what we'll call a tech setup, where you just basically rehearse the setup. Get a friend online, say, hey, I need to learn how to do this. I have an important call coming up. Work through all the bugs. Like, do the setup with them. Get Zoom set up with them so that it works, so that you're ready. And if you don't understand things, play around with the features and do it beforehand. Don't save it for when you're on the important call to figure it out. By then, it's going to be obvious that you're trying to figure it out, like, on the fly, and that doesn't look as good.
We need to talk about money. We need to talk about not money, but we need to talk about video, right, Ross? So you just recently made a major upgrade this year to your studio. So tell us about how much of an impact did it make for you? to have lights in a proper camera.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you can tell. I literally got a comment. Thank you, by the way, of someone saying, wow, Ross, you look great. Have you lost weight? No, I haven't. I just, it's just the lighting here is just much different. I upgraded this on Friday. I still haven't really adjusted it, so I probably look a little too bright right now, but it makes a huge difference. And I can't tell you, actually, and this is a true story. A client that I have, they all do audio meetings. I didn't know that. So on my first go in there, I went in, with video, with everything you see here, and everyone was just kind of blown away. They're like, holy crap, like, look, you got a full-blown studio there. And I don't. It's just literally within the camera. And literally everything you see here, like this whole setup, with including camera, including lights, was probably about $250. And that's really all it took to have this setup. We got some great LED lights, which obviously makes a huge difference. I've got an old desk lamp down there as a backlight. So there are little hacks and stuff you can do to make yourself look better. And it is incredibly impressive when you go into a meeting, you're starting with a new client or a new job, or even if it's a job that you've had for the past 10 years, all of a sudden you're on a video call and you have a full-blown studio behind you. Just subconsciously, your boss, your coworkers, potential clients, anybody that you're talking to over the video platform is all of a sudden going to subconsciously start taking you very seriously. They're going to say, oh, okay, this is prepared. And that's a lot of time with employers and stuff when you're trying to get hired or trying to get a raise or trying to get a promotion. That plays a huge part, is just being prepared and going into the situation looking like this. We're like, oh, okay, he's serious or she's serious. We're not going to have to worry about them. And, and it's just a snowball effect of positivity and everything that you're not going to get when you have your window light and across the room you got a desk lamp. It's like, it's not going to do anything. It doesn't look that professional. So if you can get this look, which is fairly cheap, it is worth it because it will pay off in the end, kind of like what AWOL said earlier.
Yeah, what you have right there with those lights in that camera is about $350 US, but the prices are spiking like crazy right now, which sucks. But you guys are using a Logitech webcam. It's like a $200 webcam. And then the lights were like $120, something like that, $100. It depends on the time. Yeah, so it's not more than it's not that expensive, but is it worth it? Yeah, to your point, yes, it is. When everybody else is sitting at their kitchen table or they're at their couch or they're sitting out on the porch, they all look like they're not taking their job seriously. Even if they are very much taking their job very, very seriously. If you look prepared and you sound prepared, then in the eyes of all your coworkers and your boss and the client, you are prepared.
Yeah, and you're also going to feel prepared. You're going to be much more motivated if you're working in a setting like this.
That's right. So what's more important, the camera or the lights? And so personally, in my opinion, getting a good pair of diffused LED lights and investing in those is more important than getting a good camera, generally speaking. People with their existing lights in their home, generally their existing lights in their home suck at lighting for camera. They're good at like lighting a room, but they're not good for lighting for camera. And so you can have a pretty bad laptop camera, even a laptop camera. And if you have good lighting, you will look better than somebody with bad lighting that's using a DSLR camera like I'm using. So the lighting is more important than the camera is, definitely. So if you have a workable camera that can shoot in HD, maybe a cheaper webcam or even a built-in laptop camera, and I would recommend dropping $150 on a pair of newer LED lights, and that will upgrade your video quality from like a 2 or 3 out of 10 up to a 5 out of 10, maybe even close to a 6 out of 10 if you really nail your lighting. So lighting is everything when it comes to when it comes to your video quality. And then once you get to that 5-ish out of 10 range with your lighting, then to go to a 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 10, then that's when you upgrade to different levels of camera, and you can invest there. Makes sense? But getting an external camera is definitely the way to go for your next step, generally speaking. And a Logitech Brio webcam is the one that I've recommended. Here, Perrin, say something so they can look at you real quick. You're on a Brio, right?
Yes, I'm on a Brio. And I want to talk about a pet peeve here real quick. First, quick lighting. I'm not going to tell you to do 3-point lighting. Lighting's very simple. Lighting from above, no. It creates shadows under your eyes. It makes you look sickly and makes you look like death. No lighting from above. Do mid-level lighting. You want lighting to come from the same level that you are in the room. Okay? And then if you want to look up more, look up 3-point lighting. You want a fill light, a point light, and a backlight. Pet peeve, video backgrounds, okay? What is behind you in the video? This annoys me so much when I get on the calls and I see this happen. And I even see like this happening in the professional world. I was watching developers do like a dev cast for their game, and they're all working from home. And they all have their computers in their bedroom. And in the background is an unmade bed with like white sheets, and they're like just unkempt. And it looks chaotic, and it looks like you're a child who can't even make your bed. That looks so unprofessional. Don't do that. Be very aware of what is in the background of your frame, of what is in the background of your video. Are your kids running around in the background of your video playing? That might not be so bad, but it's probably not very professional, right? What else is in the background? Is your significant other walking around in their PJs? That's not cool. They probably don't want to be in your video meeting. What is in the background? Make sure whatever is there, it's neat, it's organized, it's at least clean, and try to keep it like nicer and to not focus on areas where it's like the ugly, boring white part of your house, or it's just your couch. You're just sitting on your couch like you're watching TV. That doesn't really work well either. At least go to like a small table in your kitchen with like some nice windows in the background to see the outside world, like you're kind of outside, not stuck inside. So be aware of what your background is and make sure that it's something that's professional and doesn't make you look like a slob or make you look unprofessional, basically. That's my biggest pet peeve, because like people just seem to not think about that at all when they put themselves on camera.
Yeah, it's true. And they'll kind of join. They'll be like, I facilitate lots of video interviews, and we probably have to wrap this up soon. I facilitate a lot of professional video interviews with super high level executives. And these high level executives are not used to working from home, and they all really, almost all of them really suck at doing video calls. And they just hop on the call. They're like, does my background look okay? And they're like, it's just like, no, it doesn't look okay. It looks really bad. Like you haven't put in any effort to making yourself appear to be successful. And so that matters. So having things like lights in the background, having maybe at least having it be somewhat tidy, or having the things that people can see in the shot represent who you are, or what you're all about, or your credibility matters. So for example, me, you can see I have an internet router here, and I have some gaming controller, and I have a microphone right there, right? Those are things I'm all into. And then you could see acoustic paneling back here because I'm in production, and I've got a light back there. So when you look at the shot of me in my office, it's not the best shot, right? I didn't buy a set here, but when you look at the shot of me, you can kind of tell what my expertise is just by looking at me. Can people tell what your expertise is just by looking at you? Probably not, if it's just your doorway. So all of that matters. You're all now video presenters. You're now all on-camera personalities. Even if you are just, doing a normal job from home, you're now an on-camera personality all the time. You ready for that? You can't avoid that. And this whole awkward phase we're in right now, where people get on Zoom calls and they giggle to each other and they're like, ha ha ha, and people can't connect for like 15 minutes and stuff. Pretty soon that's going to start getting weeded out. Are you going to be the person that gets weeded out? Don't be that person. This is your chance to get ahead by leveraging technology and by taking all of these things seriously. Let's review. Top of the hierarchy, internet connection. Next item, getting a good microphone and upgrading your audio quality, $130 microphone. And then the next priority item is getting good lighting for your space. And then bonus power tips that we gave you include actually learning the communication software you're supposed to be talking on and like completely understand the way that works. And then make sure your background looks tight. That's it. If you do those things, you'll be ahead of 95% of people that are now having to work remotely, and there's tens of millions of them, and it'll give you a massive advantage in your career. Anything else you guys want to add?
I think you nailed it.
Pretty solid. We'll have to do an episode on computers because we skipped that part.
Yeah, we do.
But
that is kind of important,
it's kind of important,
bit.
but that's like a whole episode. There's a lot of detail there, so maybe we'll do another episode on that this week.
Yeah, and we disagree with each other on that one, so that'll be fun. So I'm a laptop guy. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for listening to the Digital Drop podcast. We are likely going to stream this on all platforms soon. So it's currently exclusively live on Twitter. We'll keep you posted on that, and hopefully we can expand the reach of the show by maybe going to even more platforms. If you want to check out the video replay, it'll be available on YouTube, audio version on all podcasting platforms. Go be a professional for the love of God. See you in the next episode. Good luck.